Now, next up is cast mold examples. I mentioned previously that you need to have a blank in order to create a cavity, in order to create a casted part. And the final casted part is obviously the part you're going to machine, which is your production component. But uniquely, you also have to create the blank. So you have to machine that as well. And then you use that. If you look at the section view on the left, it shows the two halves of the casting mold in orange. And then the casted material is poured into the gray areas. So to form the actual product. If you move over there to the far right, this is the end result of the casted product. So you're going to be machining the blank, and you got to be machining the final product. Just one second. Okay, here's another example of a cast molded part where, again, you have to have a blank. So we have the casted blank over here on the left side near the bottom, and that needs to be modeled and created. Now, you can actually, in order to create this blank, you can also create a prototype mold with a cavity and core in order to mold the blank. The blank doesn't have to be obviously as accurate. It's, as your finished product, because you're going to be machining this blank in areas that are functional for this part. So in the top and right areas, we show both sides of this blank after they're machined. So you got machining on one side, and then you flip it over, and we have fixture plates to illustrate that process. Again, if anybody's got any questions, put them in the chat window, and we'll get to them. So let's go over to the casted examples. I have two casting examples I want to show you. In this example, and I want to mention here that in order to create your stock, which is going to be the stock is going to represent your blank. Okay, so this is the part that's going to come out of the casting, and this is the part you're going to machine. So there's two different ways you can create that stock. You can actually model your blank, and I'll show you here. Turn that on, turn that off. So this is the blank, and you can use that to create your stock just by using the stock from selection. So that'll end up being your stock. So with the stock on, let's show it. And let's turn the part off. So here you can see the stock in transparency. I have some of the masking surfaces on, so let's go turn them off. So basically, you machine, in this particular example, you machine the bottom and then the top, both sides, and you use protection surfaces in various, depending on what you're machining, in order to protect different areas of the component. So let's go over and look at the top again. So on the top side, again, you see in the machining job tree, you'll see it says spiral finish with mask number 3. So we got to turn on mask number 3. So this is turned on when you generate the tool path. So it keeps the tool from plunging down in these cavities and protects various areas. So that's another method of using the protection surfaces, not only for parting lines, but also just to guide your tool to where you want it to go, or more specifically, where you don't want it to go. And again, we got other, operations to fill out the entire component. Okay, got one more casted part I want to show you before we get into the injection molding. So here is a cast. What you're seeing here is the stock, and that stock model was created from a casted blank. So we turn our stock off. here's our casted blank that was modeled from the actual component. So you can.
Yeah, that casted blank is actually modeled in Rhino, correct?
Right. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. And again, there's two different methods. In order to, if you don't have time to create your casted blank, model it. If you don't have time to model it, or if you don't have the enough information to model it, you can take your actual part and you can use it to create your casted blank just by offsetting, offsetting the surfaces. If it's a solid, you can do a general offset, or you can use the stock part offset, part box stock, which allows you to add material on all sides of your part, and you can use that in order to create your stock. Okay, so any questions about either one of those casting examples, just put them in the questions bar. I'm going to hop over to injection molding real quick.